Forgotten, The Frozen North, Chapter 19, The Crystal Princess. Sunny lowered her hoof once she saw the light die down in her peripheral vision. She was still standing in the large chamber, and the crystal heart was now glowing dimly. The ambience was quite different though. The room had a foggy, almost ghostly appearance now, and there, laying next to the crystal heart, was...
a pony? Hello? Are you alright?
She asked. Izzy stood several paces behind Sunny just inside the doorway, unsure of what to do as she slowly took several steps into the room towards her. Her friend had touched the stone on the ground and it exploded out in a flash of light. The instant afterward, a glowing horn and wings materialized on Sunny's body. And yet she stood still, her eyes glowing a fiery white.
Sunny? Are you okay?
The unicorn asked her friend, who simply stood there, looking down at the heart. Then the Earthmare looked to her left, looking at... nothing.
Hello? Are you alright?
Sunny asked.
I'm fine, Sunny. Hello? Sunny? Can you hear me?
Flurry Heart barely felt anything. Every labored breath she took chilled her barrel. How long had she been here? Hours? Days? It was nearly impossible to tell when the wind was constant and the sun wasn't visible from any of the chamber's windows. She hadn't found the strength to stand, and laying here hadn't helped her recover any energy. She just felt exhausted, but not quite able to fall asleep. The tears that had fallen from her eyes had not even made it to the floor before freezing to her cheeks. Her eyesight also wasn't clear. She couldn't make out the walls of the chamber anymore. They were blurry and hazy.
Is this what dying feels like?
Would Luna and Spike and all the others be waiting for her when she finally crossed over?
Hello? Are you alright?
She heard a voice ask. She opened her eyes and saw the crystal heart glowing once again. In the aura of light that shined out from it, she saw...
An alicorn?
She asked, her voice barely a whisper. The form had a pair of bright orange wings and a horn. Then there, just above her head, she saw them. The crystals from her dreams.
An alicorn?
The prone pony form asked. The voice was definitely a mare's, but due to the aura in the room, Sunny couldn't discern any detailed features. But the voice definitely sounded weak.
The crystals... did they work? Is Equestria safe?
She heard her ask. The form hardly moved, barely raising her head to look at her.
Yes.
Sunny replied, slowly nodding.
Yes, they worked. Equestria has united again.
Flurry felt relief wash over her as the frigid air continued to rush over her body. She managed the weakest of smiles as she slowly laid her head back down onto the icy floor, and she finally felt ready to rest. To sleep. Sunny heard the apparition give a soft sigh of relief.
Thank you. Thank you, my little pony. I don't know who you are, but you have brought me more peace than you can imagine.
The haze in the room began to lift, and with it, the pony laying on the floor faded away. When she took her next breath, the room had returned to the icy look that she had seen when they had first entered.
Hey! You okay?
She heard a voice ask, and she turned to see Izzy standing next to her. Sunny turned back to where she saw the pony laying, and saw nothing but ice and crystallized floor. Had she simply faded away? If not, then surely there would be some kind of remains. But there was nothing, except the crystal heart. She walked back over and touched the gray heart-shaped stone again. But nothing happened this time, and she picked it up in her hoof.
The crystals.
Sunny said to Izzy.
The crystals. I think they came from here.
Chapter 20, Flurry Heart's Plea. For Sunny, it was all beginning to come together. The crystal heart protected the crystal empire through the love of its citizens shared with one another. The ruler must have turned the crystal heart into the race crystals that she and her friends had tracked down. But without the magic of the heart, the harsher weather of the region overtook the city, most likely leading to its evacuation. After what she had seen, she didn't want to assume anything, but she wanted to explore more of the castle to try and glean any more information on what that might have been. She had obviously seen the crystals, so what had the heart done? Kept her in limbo for however long, or did it take an avatar of Sunny back in time to converse with this mare to let her know their efforts had eventually succeeded? Izzy told her that she would explore the 3rd floor while Sunny made her way up to the 4th, and it immediately started feeling like Princess Twilight's castle again. Empty, frozen hallways and icy rooms that were a bit better preserved than things in the forest due to the surrounding climate. The raging storm surrounded the valley also probably kept less adventurous explorers away. But to be fair, most others were likely less equipped than they were too. Being essentially sponsored by Maritime Bay's biggest employer made getting this far north a bit more manageable. Coming to the next door on her right, she found it open and peered inside. It was another bedroom, but this one appeared more ornate than the others that they had come across so far, which seemed to be single bedrooms or guard bunk rooms. A large bed, 2 bedside tables, a dresser with a mirror, and a large desk underneath a frosted-over window that overlooked the city. There looked to be a walk-in closet attached to a dressing room as well over on the far right side of the room. Sunny's attention was drawn over to the desk on the left side, under the window where a crown rested. It looked like a silver flower, petals rising straight up with sapphires set around the entire circumference. Gently nudging the crown was all she needed to confirm that the crown was frozen to the desk. She lifted the flap of her left saddlebag and pulled out a hoof-held blowtorch. She ignited it, and slowly ran the flame across where the crown met the desk. When the frost and ice was sufficiently melted, it came free, and Sunny took out a large piece of cloth, carefully wrapping it up and placed it in her right saddlebag along with the crystal heart. She then noticed that there was something underneath the glass panel that made up the top of the desk.
Writing?
Continuing her work with the blowtorch, she slowly defrosted the center of the desk's top panel, revealing a rectangular piece of parchment. She pulled out her phone, making sure the LED headband wasn't going to create a bad reflection on the glass, and took a picture of the letter, then read silently.
To whomever finds this letter, I won't presume to know who you are or what you're doing up here. Perhaps a citizen of this fair city that is hopefully returning home, or a descendant. I hope it hasn't been too long. While I have not personally witnessed any of the unrest down south, the very mention of it breaks my heart. I do wonder what the accounts will be like, to see what the collapse of Cloudsdale must have been like firsthand when it came down on top of Canterlot, or Ponyville as it was slowly overtaken by the Everfree Forest. Every report I have received in the months following have only described the situation as worsening. While I yearned to join my evacuating citizens, I believe that it is my destiny to use the Crystal Heart to banish the Wendigos to oblivion before they can end life everywhere. Ponies shouldn't cooperate together under a threat of frozen fate. They should do so because they love and care for each other. If you find this and the lives of equestrians are still dire, I implore you, learn to love each other again. Please. Princess Luna, Spike, and the Crystal Ponies sacrificed their home so that all of you would get that chance. Sincerely, Princess Flurry Heart of the Crystal Empire. Was that one of the princesses that I'd seen in the Crystal Heart's chamber? Luna or Flurry? What about the rest of the Crystal Ponies? Had they integrated into the splintering groups of equestrians and they had their traits fade over the following generations?
Hey, Izzy?
Sunny asked through her headset.
When you're done on the 3rd floor, I need some help up here. I've got a pretty fragile letter here underneath the glass panel, and I need some levitation magic. Sure thing, Sunny. Be up in a few minutes.
Sunny gave a soft, somber smile as she gazed down at the letter.
We did it, Princess. It took longer than we all would have liked, but we did it.
I can't friggin' believe it. Only one more chapter off until we get on to the next sequel. Because man, first one already blew my mind away, this one did it even more. Anywho, let's get on to our fuzzy donators. Top donators are 630, J10Man, Only One Thing, Ceru, Orion, and IronSky. Darkside, Rayden, Narwhals, Blackmoonheart, Pastel Skies, Austin Rolan, Stu Hex, Sword Brother and Mordred, Omicron, Lyrae, Will, Chris, Twinkie, Rydesol, Badass Waffle, Shadow Moon, Luigi88, and many more warm people. Thank you all so much for watching this video and live life to the fullest.